Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sonic Adventure 2 Stage Tutorials. Today I'm going to be taking you through Metal Harbor. If you've already seen the beginner tutorial, then this is an addendum to that. This is going to be an intermediate tutorial for Metal Harbor. So you've already seen the basic route of the stage, and this is going to introduce some more movement tech and general tricks that you can use to cut off some seconds from your time and have a, hopefully, just faster time throughout the stage. So let's just move straight in. So the first thing that you can do on Metal Harbor as a sort of mini skip is to skip part of this first loop by just doing a jump that hopefully doesn't send you absolutely sky high. This kind of depends both on your inputs and the just direction that you're holding on the control stick. It's a little difficult to work around what these speed pads do to your controls, and if you just continue to hold up then you're probably going to get a lot of airtime there, but if you just hold right straight off getting off the speed pads, your mileage still kind of varies a little bit, but the idea is that you want to just try and cut off this first loop as you can. It's definitely safer to go later than sooner because of the this moving object here potentially blocking you and causing you to fall to your death. But it's not too tricky to just cut that off. So when you reach this point, you want to try and spin dash down this hill, chain a couple if you can, and rather than taking the spring that's straight ahead here and grabbing the checkpoint, once you reach this point, once you're past this set of yellow and black striped lines where there's these platforms moving back and forth, you can instead do a spin dash jump to the left, because if you rotate the camera here you can see that there's these struts on the left here where once I actually perform a spin dash jump and go out towards this direction, the camera will basically face this way and make it quite easy to angle myself a bit to the left and land on these struts right here. Like that. From here you can just go over again to here, and rather than taking the trail of enemies here, what you want to do is use a spin dash jump and aim for the last enemy of the bunch. So I'm going to be doing a spin dash jump and I'm going to be aiming for this guy over here. An important detail is to not be too close to this enemy when you do the spin dash jump, because if I just perform it from here and go straight forward, then I'm going to hit that enemy, and there's not really much point in trying the spin dash jump from there. So I'm going to get back there. I'm going to instead perform the spin dash jump from a little further to the right. And that's what I meant there about that platform that's moving on the left there can potentially get in your way there. Thankfully it didn't cause any nasty accidents there. So from here, just make sure you have enough clearance from the enemy, spin dash jump straight up and angle yourself to the left, and just homing attack the enemy and carry on. As in the beginner tutorial, you're always going to need to get the light shoes, so just go up and get them. As in the beginner tutorial, have neutral stick when you come out of there. And as for the routes that you can use on these three speed pads, I personally prefer to use this right hand path where I use the right hand speed pad and then I chain spin dashes as I get off it and go for this next speed pad here, and this just lines you up quite well for getting the light dash trail when you come off there. So you have a lot of speed coming out of here, and I'm coming right up to these speed pads. If you want to skip this half loop here, then you want to actually jump over these speed pads here. You'll land about here, and then you can just do a jump and homing attack around the left side of this half loop. And jump over the zipper as normal. You can still get perfectly respectable times by not doing pulley skip, and it does set you up quite nicely to be able to do this loop skip here, which you can both cut off this loop, as you can see just doing like this, and as you get back into the loop you can also get some nice loop speed. Please, speed pads, stop blocking my progress. So, wow, the camera is not friendly here. So loop speed is a property that hasn't really been talked about much in any of these tutorials so far, I think, but in short, it's the effect that boosts you around a loop when you are using directional input. And if done incorrectly on this loop here, it can actually cause you to die. I'm going to try and do it wrong here and cause Sonic to die. Yeah, so that's an example of using loop speed incorrectly. What happened there is that I homing attacked into the loop speed trigger, which gave me a speed boost in a specific direction. and that direction was to shoot me downwards, and that happened because I got the loop speed boost before I broke through the loop. I should mention as well that to get a loop speed burst, you do need to do a homing attack and not a homing attack cancel. Like, for some reason, if you homing attack cancel by pressing B right after initiating the homing attack, the game just doesn't really give you a loop speed burst. Don't really know why, but in essence, you just need to do a basic homing attack with just an A input. But if you wait until you've already broken through the loop, then you'll get a loop speed burst and you won't go back through the loop because the underside of these loops are not solid, but once you're standing on them, I obviously can't go straight through a surface like this. So instead you want to charge a nice full spin dash and use quite a full jump to get over here, and then once I'm through the loop, I'm going to homing attack and it will give me a loop speed burst once I'm on the other side. Like that. You can see I'm running way faster than normal once I got through there. So just continue on, and as again in the beginner tutorial, try not to hit the left-hand spring, left-hand speed pad right here if you can. Try and avoid this one and hit either of these two, as they will give you less speed, which sounds bad, but it means that once you get over this ramp, you are going to have a lot less airtime. So boost down here, and as you reach this somersault barrier, hopefully you should be in a nice position if you start a spin dash from around here and just maintain it to unroll and use storage to get under the barrier. So if you're unfamiliar with storage, simply all I'm doing is, you're going to be able to see on the input cam, I'm going to be able to run towards this barrier and just run under it while in the running animation like this, while I'm holding B. So right now I'm not running under the barrier. Next time I approach it, I'm going to be holding B and I'll just go right under the barrier. Like, clearly I was in the running animation, I just went under the barrier, because while you are holding B, the game considers you to be somersaulting even if you don't have the somersault animation. So rather than take this enemy trail, as in the beginner tutorial, it's very possible to just skip it entirely with another spin dash jump. There's a couple of details to consider with skipping the enemy trail, which I'll get into when I get back to that location. So another loop speed burst there. Don't get the left hand speed pad. Alright, so I mentioned about just doing a spin dash jump, and ideally it's just going to look like this. That you can just jump straight across. You're going to be a little slower landing on this platform by not using any homing attacks, but it doesn't matter about getting to this platform as fast as possible because you are limited by waiting for this rocket to appear. I can't progress past this platform until this rocket is fully extended and primed, and you're going to be able to see that I have quite a bit of waiting time before it's fully active. So the reason that I prefer to do this section without any additional homing attacks is that because of the enemy placements, there is quite a bit that can actually go wrong if you try and use homing attacks around those enemies there. There are some situations where you can be forced to go in completely the wrong direction, and in a best case scenario you end up needing to attack the whole trail and go back to where you came from. In a worst case scenario you can't recover and you just die. So I'm going to do what I commonly see a lot of people doing, which is attack the last beetle. It may work. Like, I may just attack this guy and then be able to carry on. What may also happen is that if I attack from like in between this cluster, Sonic may decide to target this guy, like he'll come all the way around and target this guy. And if you're not prepared for that, then that just causes really bad things to happen. Like that. Exactly like that. That happened by pure accident. That can happen like any time if you're in the wrong position. So since I demonstrated that you can just clear the gap with a spin dash jump and it's no faster to homing attack to the other side, just don't homing attack the enemies there. If you're spin dash jumping across this gap, don't use a homing attack on the last enemies. It's not helpful and it will only stand to potentially lose you time. So we come now to the rocket platform, and as soon as you get off this rocket, the way that I prefer to take this is to angle myself a little upright so that I can land on this side barrier, like right around here. Like, the hitbox is surprisingly wide to be able to stand on here, so it's not as precise as it looks. From here, you want to then charge a full spin dash and let it go with a spin dash. I believe you need to use a spin dash hover here. I'll test not using a spin dash hover, and I might still make it to this platform. The idea is you want to get on this platform, avoid this spring on the side here, just go along the side here, and make it onto one of these steep slopes so that you can do a sloped spin dash jump. So let's try this without a hover. Yeah, you can make that without a hover. So once you get onto this platform, you can see the countdown has started. So from here, you've got 15 seconds to make it to the rocket platform at the top. Hopefully it's going to take a lot less than 15 seconds though. As long as you get like on this sloped surface like this. Please, game. So you can see I'm able to charge a spin dash as normal, which means you can do spin dash jumps as normal. And the rocket platform is right above here, like this side of the rocket here. At the very top of the platform is where the rocket platform is with the handle that you want to grab. So we'll take a death. We got the checkpoint, so we're just going to respawn right around here. And let's see what we can do. Control stick angles can be awkward here. So there you go. You can see that the platform is right here. So again, to illustrate, just falling down. This spot here is where I started from. So you want to try and angle towards the inside of the rocket capsule and just go straight up like this if you can. This is like a little tricky to get the hang of, especially because of how unhelpful the camera can be, both in giving you a clear view and in how it rotates once you actually do the jump. But the general idea is that you want to just jump up to the rocket platform. Something like this. And on your way up, you can do a homing attack to hopefully hit either the spring or the handle here. But these side handles here can be very unhelpful with your homing attack detection. Like, if I jump over here and try to homing attack towards the spring, this handle's probably just going to get in the way and cause me to fall, and that can happen on the way up as well. Okay, I actually had quite a lucky time getting through there with no problems, I do have to say. So, just mash A to get through the rocket cutscene as fast as you can, as in the beginner tutorial. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do a final loop skip here. The simplest way, in my opinion, is to run through the first two, I should say, set of speed pads. There's going to be a set of speed pads here and another one around here. And when you're about halfway up the loop, you can just jump away from it and you can homing attack towards the goal ring. Again, just watch the input cam to see exactly what I'm doing. Now, yeah, the camera can get stuck on the inside of the loop, but as long as you are like moving in an up-left direction, it's generally quite easy to hit the goal ring from there. So, we're going to try and pull this all together in one clean-ish attempt, and this is going to hopefully come out as in between a 130 to a 135, if all goes pretty well. So, let's have a go at this. That's a bit of a problem, but it's fine. So again, always going to need to get the light shoes. Neutral stick when you get off the light dash trail. Jump over these speed pads and homing attack around here. Jump over the zipper. Make sure you get a full spin dash jump and a full jump there to make it through there fairly safely. And no need to homing attack around there. Alright. Angle was a little iffy going towards there. That is something that can happen. If anything, just make sure you have a full spin dash charge here. And you can see that you can make it without too much difficulty. And yeah, this rocket platform in general is a bad time if you're not prepared for it. So the rocket platform, I can really only say just practice it. You have a checkpoint right there, just practice that rocket platform. You will get more used to it. And then... Okay, Cameron didn't get stuck, so that's fine. And coming out with around a 133. Again, pretty much right in the middle of what I was estimating to get. In between the 130 to 135 region, and just smack dab in the middle of that. So that is Metal Harbor in a nutshell for the more intermediate level player, using some more basic skips. There's a lot of optimizations that can be done in this stage, which would come in a more like advanced tutorial, so maybe stick around for that coming out at some point. I'm not the most qualified person to do Advanced Metal Harbor though, so we'll see. But either way, that is Metal Harbor, and if there's anything you don't really get, or anything you want to inquire about, just feel free to leave a comment, or grab me on Discord directly if you want. I'm more than happy to help people out. And as always, I will see you guys next time with some more tutorials, hopefully.